Today is all about the best video gear accessories that's under $100 in 2021. So let's get started now. What's up, it's Aalon and welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to make video, tips and tricks and other video related content, start now by subscribing and clicking the alert icon. So I wanted to share some of the best video gear that I've collected over the years and that it's really under $100. Some of the items may be slightly over, but they're still worth looking at. And these are items that you can take with you in the field or use them in the studio, whether you're shooting with your cell phone, your mobile phone, or shooting with an actual camera. So first up is this Rode VideoMic Me. It's a mini shotgun mic that's optimized for smartphones. The reason I picked this up because I didn't own a second camera at the time when I first got started, because I only had one camera, which was the Sony a7 III, and I was shooting the behind the scenes with my smartphone and the audio wasn't that great. But when I paired this microphone to my smartphone, it really increased the quality of my audio and I was able to get a lot better sound. And so whether you're doing content creation for your YouTube, talking head, and you're using your smartphone, this is a really good choice as far as having a mic connected to your smartphone. So I'm going to do a demonstration of how this would sound with the VideoMic shotgun connected to the smartphone, and then I'll play some audio with it not being connected. And so let's do that right now. The microphone is out and here's the audio straight out of the smartphone, and you can kind of hear the difference here. So the price for this microphone comes in around $60, and I'm going to leave links down below in the description for all the products I'm going to discuss today. Up next is the Falcon Eyes F7 Mini Video Pocket Light, and what's really nice about this light is that it has a color temperature range between 2500 to about 9000 Kelvin. And so let's kind of play with this a bit to kind of give you a demonstration here. Also, you have full control over all of the controls, and you have this little LCD screen on the back to kind of show you where we are. And so as you turn up the percentage, and we have it set at 5600 Kelvin for a daylight, and you can see that the light does get brighter as you turn up the percentage or you turn it down. Another nice thing about this light is it has multiple scenarios, such as a police car, ambulance, a fire truck, lightning 2, a TV screen, a candle. One of my favorites is the paparazzi flashing, has a strobe, and so forth. Another nice thing I like about this light is that you can change the colors because it is an RGB light, and you can change practically to any color that you like, and you have control over how much saturation you want in that particular color, as well as what percentage you want the brightness to be of the light. Another nice thing about this Falcon Eyes light is that it does come with a softbox where you can attach it over top and allows you to make the light a little softer, as well as having the A crate to really help with some of the shadows of your light. Another thing that it comes with is a way to connect it to either your stand or to a camera or to a camera cage. This allows you to position the light any direction that you would like so that you can get the most optimal performance out of what you're trying to video. The other thing that I don't like about this light is that it has a metal casing around it that has a magnetization to it where it will stick to practically anything that's metal, and so you can mount it to wherever you want as long as it is metal, and that does come in handy. I've used it a couple of different times in some of the product videos that I've shot. You also have this little handy dandy carrying case to keep the light from being damaged. Another way that I've used this light is to use it as a backlight, and so I've done this in some of my previous videos where I attach it to a tripod and it worked very well, and I've used it in some of these videos to backlight myself, and so it does give you that separation from the background, and that was very helpful and very handy for me. Next up is the Manfrotto quick release rapid connector. And so what's really nice about this adapter is that you can connect this to your tripod, your gimbal, a slider, a mini tripod, And I use this on all of my cameras. And what's nice is that this base piece connects to the bottom of your camera. And I really can't show you right now because I have these already connected and mounted to my cameras that I'm using today. So the base plate does connect to the bottom of the camera with the regular screw in, and it has this little knob where you can just tie it into the camera. What's really nice about this item is that when you are on a go and want to transition from either tripod or to your gimbal, it quickly snaps into place just like that, and you can snap it out of place like this. And when it snaps in place, it does have this little lock here to prevent it from coming out. So that way you never have to worry about you're losing your camera off the tripod or out of the base plate itself. And so it does give you a little extra security in regards to that piece. One of the things that most people don't talk about when it comes to these types of videos, and it has to do with video gear, are the types of cables that's really needed. And so I picked up this HDMI dual cable, full cable actually, that's coiled, because the A7S III does require a full HDMI cable, and the A7 III requires one end to be a full and the other to be a mini. And so when I purchased the A7S III, I needed to buy another cable, and so I bought a regular cable that was not coiled. And what I found out is that when I have it connected to a gimbal or to a slider, and there's a lot of movement that needs to happen, most of the times the cable got wrapped around. So with it being coiled, it's less resistant of being wrapped around, especially when it's connected to my gimbal. This cable is priced around $11. Now, one thing I must note about this cable, that it supports 4K 30 frames per second. Now, if you want to shoot at a higher frame rate, such as 4K 60 frames per second or even higher, you're going to have to go with a different type of cable. But for this value of around $10 to $11, and you're shooting 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second, this works just fine. Now, the other cable that I was speaking of is really mainly for using an external monitor that's a recorder and not just a regular field monitor. Next up is the Portkeys field monitor. Now, I don't believe this is any longer on the market, and there is an alternative, which is the free Field World 5.5-inch monitor. However, when this Portkeys first came out, it was right around $100, but I think the replacement or the alternative is around $139. However, what's really nice about this monitor is that it allows you to get a 9 grid, as well as if you're shooting in S-Log or some type of log profile, you can actually load the LUTs right onto the monitor, and you can see exactly how your image is going to be exposed. You also have the ability to see false color, and what's really nice about the false color is that you can see where your highlights or your items are really blown out, and to really understand how your exposure is going to look, or how your exposure really looks within the image that you're recording at that particular time. So one thing that I wish I would have known when I was looking for this type of field monitor is I was having a difficult time trying to figure out what kind of batteries that would operate this particular monitor. One of the batteries that I found that worked for this was the LPE6N batteries, and this is usually powered for a Canon EOS R type of camera. And so this does come in around $29, around $30 actually, but this particular set, you get 2 batteries and you get the dual charger station. And so that's one of the things I liked about this particular setup. There are some other batteries that do work, such as for the Sony series, that you can operate to get to operate this particular monitor. Another thing that I like about this particular monitor is that it does come with this shield, and it allows you to place this over top of the monitor so that you can still see your image when you're recording on a bright sunny day. And so it's like a hood, and it keeps the sunlight from hitting the monitor screen to where you still can see what you're recording. So this does come in very handy. Up next is a set of gray cards. You have your black, your charcoal gray, and your 18% gray is what I'm going to call this. And so if you're not familiar with a gray card, this comes in very handy. This allows you to perfectly set your white balance. So if you're using a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera, you can go into your custom settings, and there should be an option that allows you to set your white balance based upon a gray card. So basically what you would do is you hold the gray card in front of the camera. There's usually either a square or a circle, and you want to ensure that the gray card fills that completely. You click on the set button, and now your white balance is set perfectly. And so if you're unfamiliar with playing around with your white balance, this is one thing that can definitely help you out, because setting your white balance can either make or break your video. It's very important. Another thing that I like about this gray card, that it is small enough that it actually can fit in your pockets, and you can carry it around either when you're on your shoot, or you can use it within your studio. Typically, you want to move away from auto white balance, because when you introduce motion and things are moving and lights or things pass in front of your lights, your auto white balance within your camera, it can definitely change, and it could be so dramatic that it kind of throws off your shots if you have shots in sequence. And so if you're ever wondering why some of your shots look either green, yellow, or red, it's because your white balance is not set properly. So using this gray card works perfectly. This little card comes in around about $8. I think it may be $7.99 on Amazon, but do check out the link down below. Up next is the Joby GorillaPod, and I really like this tripod because it has some sturdy legs and it's very flexible, and I've used this so many different ways. One of the ways I've used this is typically, if I wasn't doing this product review, this would be mounted to my camera as when I do my talking heads. Then what's really cool about this tripod is that because the legs are very flexible, you can kind of bend the legs in any direction to get the size or the height that you want for your camera to sit. And so you also have this nice 90 degrees ball head where the camera can be rotated in any direction, and you can get that vertical angle if you want to as well. Another nice thing is when you're doing a vlog, you can put the legs together kind of like this, mount your camera on top, and kind of hold it out in this fashion. That way you can get a good view of your camera, and if you have a flip out screen, this is perfect for vlogging. The other nice thing too is you have this leveling on the back of the tripod, and you have the little bubble where you can ensure that the camera is always level at all times. And another way that I've used this is when I'm out in the field, I can either set this down somewhere on the ground, or because the legs are bendy and they wrap around, they're pretty sturdy, I can actually wrap it around like a bicycle handle or to a bar, and it will be perfectly mounted in this direction, or the direction that you want to put it in, and it stays put. And so I've used this so many different ways. I must say that this is a must-have. Now this tripod comes in around about $47, $48, somewhere in that ballpark. And so do check this out. This is a must-buy. Again, this is the Joby GorillaPod, and it's an excellent tool. So the maximum weight that this tripod can hold is about 6.6 pounds, and I definitely recommend this tripod over some of the other ones that I've used that's similar to this. Next up on the list is going to be Gaff Tape. And so Gaff Tape is really important, especially if you're doing product shoots or if you're doing any type of shoots with models, and this can come in handy if you're doing video or for photos. This allows you to place tape either on the ground to where your models or your talent is standing and mark that place. Now, when it comes to shooting video, you can also do it in the same fashion, and so it allows you to kind of speed up your workflow, so you don't have to go back and figure out where the talent was standing if you have to get multiple shots or if you have to do a reshoot. Another way that I've used this was in product videos when I want to set my focus in a certain distance of a particular product. So I placed the tape on the surface, and that marks where this is where I have the camera in focus. So as I pull back or push in, it allows me to know exactly where to stop. And when I stop at that area, I know that that particular item that I'm shooting is in focus. Another way to use this gaff tape is to mount different things. And I've used this to mount some of my lights, like my pop-up tubes, simply because I really like how strong it is. It prevents things from falling and it sticks to it, as well as it does not leave any type of residue, so it won't damage the item that has been applied to. And so really this comes in handy. This comes in at about $17. It comes in various different colors and shapes, or sizes I should say, and definitely something that you should have in your toolkit if you're shooting any types of videos or any types of product videos. Lastly but not least is the Neewer 15-piece 1/4 to 3/8 adapters that allows you to connect a 1/4 inch to and convert it to 3/8. And so let me kind of show you how this works. So I'm going to use this tripod and I'm going to mount this light. So this tripod is a 1/4 and this light is 3/8. And so with this adapter, of course, I can't place this light directly onto this tripod or fall. Also, this light is a little too heavy, and so, but I'm using it for this demonstration. So basically what I can do is take this 1/4 inch, take this adapter, attach it here, attach this to the light, attach this end to the light, and this side is a 1/4, and so this allows me to easily attach the light to the tripod. This allows you to attach some lighting or any type of other accessories that needs to be converted from a 1/4 to 3/8. Very handy. If you are new to creating videos, videography, or content creation in general, and you want to learn more about the exposure triangle, check out this playlist right here where I break down the ISO, the aperture, and the shutter speed. If you have not subscribed just yet, please do so now. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.